Alright, so on these notes we're listing 2 pieces of information given by the marks in the diagram. So the highlighters are going to color code those marks, and we're just going to go through what they could mean on each one. Alright, so even though the first box says example, we're going to do all 3 of these together just to give you an idea of what they're going to look like, and then we'll take it up a notch. So, take a look at examples diagram. What kind of marks are you seeing here?
I'm seeing arrows.
Alright, let's stop there. So again, we have arrows. I'm going to highlight those. And then off to the side, I'm going to create a bulleted list. So the arrows mean what? What are they indicating in this picture? What do you think?
That they go on forever.
Nope, so the ending arrows, that's what those arrows mean.
Oh, the arrows means that they're parallel to
Yep.
each other?
So arrows means that the lines are parallel. Alright, and the symbol for parallel are the 2 vertical lines next to each other. And we can also further see in this example that that is true because it says line DB is parallel to line CA. So those 2 horizontal lines are parallel to each other. What other kind of symbol are we seeing here?
Right angle.
Right angle. So again, let your peers also have a chance, okay? You're really quick, but your peers need some more time, okay? So we see a right angle. So take a moment, each of you, think about, not only does it mean a right angle, but think about what else it might mean for this diagram.
Should I highlight that one box, like a different color?
Yep. So the 90-degree box means what? What's the other statement that's provided with this diagram? Annabelle, can you read that second answer right here?
Sure, can you just, wait, the AB?
Yep, what does this say?
CA over AB.
Oh, this one right here, the second one.
BD, let me just,
Are you talking about the line?
I'm talking about this statement right here. What does that mean? We've learned about it before.
BD, perpendicular.
Yeah, so line BD is perpendicular to line segment AB. We know that these are different because this one has arrows at the end of its line. This one does not. All right?
In the diagram, they do have arrows.
Yes, but it's talking about this segment right here.
Oh.
All right? You could also label it a line. That wouldn't bother me. All right?
So
90-degree box means the lines or line segments are perpendicular. And the symbol for that is the upside down capital T. So it might also be helpful to highlight the symbols associated with them. So in the future, you're going to be responsible for giving answers like these 2 statements right here, all right? And knowing why you know that from the diagram. So you're going to need these 2 pieces of information. All right, everyone good?
1 second.
All right. So now in problem 1, what do we see that's similar to our example? What symbols do we see, Malcolm, that are similar?
The arrows?
The arrows. Okay, so I'm going to use the same highlighter color that I did in the first one. I'm going to highlight those. And how would I write that statement down here for our answers? What two lines are parallel?
It doesn't say the letter though.
So take a look at where the arrows are though. So what lines are those?
Perpendicular?
Nope. So we know
Parallel.
the arrows mean that they're parallel. So what lines are parallel? What two letters make that line?
Oh, is it on the thing?
Yeah, on this diagram right here. What two letters?
Is it B and A?
So what line, if I cover this one up, what line is this?
B?
And?
D.
D.
Oh,
Okay.
B and D.
So we have line BD is parallel to Max, what other line?
AC.
AC, good. You could also label them DB or CA. The order of those letters doesn't matter.
Okay.
Alright? Alright, what new symbol though do we have on this diagram? What new symbol?
The two little lines.
The two little lines. These are called tick marks.
So this should be a brand new color.
Yep, brand new color. And then off to the side, we're gonna write tick marks mean line or segment congruency. Anyone remember the symbol for the word congruent?
Equal
There's an equal sign
with the line above, or the curly Q.
with a squiggle. I
Yeah.
call it a squiggle, yeah.
Yeah.
So a squiggle on top of an equal sign. So what two line segments here are congruent, which means they're the same size? One of you girls
What two
want to...
lines?
Yep, so let's call them line segments, so because you'll notice that the tick marks are between the two letters. So we don't actually know if the whole line is congruent, but we know that these two middle pieces are congruent. So what line segment, Annabelle, why don't you give me one? What two letters make a line segment? That's congruent to each other.
Two lines with
So I'm looking at these two tick marks right here. What two line segments are those? What are their names?
their names.
Their names. So you use the letters to make a name. For example, we have line BD and line AC over here.
Oh, okay, like DB. Oh,
Okay, yep, so DB, BD, either one is fine.
Okay.
So let's call this one DB, and it's a line segment, so it should not have arrows on top of its line. Alright, is congruent, Annabelle, to what other line segment?
To CA.
Good. So that's the second piece of information. Alright. Now we're moving on to problem 2. I'm going to need the first color that I used for my right angle in the example. Okay, so for me I used purple. And we're in example number 2, or problem number 2 now. Alright, so that should be the first thing that I recognize, because I know that symbol already. What does this symbol, the box, mean again?
That it's perpendicular.
That it's perpendicular. Okay. So, Anna, what pieces are perpendicular to each other?
Line segments TU.
TU,
W.
W, so we have T, U, W is perpendicular to what other line segment? VU. So that's one piece of information.
Is it TUW?
Yep, because it's this whole thing. You could also just call it TW and skip U if you wanted. That would also be acceptable. Alright, what is a new symbol that we're seeing here?
The circular things?
Yep, so we call these arcs.
New color.
New color, yes. Alright, so arcs mean that the angles are congruent. So again, these arc marks are on two different angles. We have angle W and angle T. And because they share that same arc, we know that they're congruent. So angles use the arcs for congruency. Lines and segments use regular tick marks, like in problem 1 above. And there's two ways that you could list angle congruency. One is definitely easier than the other, right? For example, how could I name this angle right here? Anybody?
W.
Angle W, okay? Angle W. How else can I name the same angle though?
Angle XWT.
Yep. Or angle XWU,
Yeah.
okay? I would probably use angle XWU. So I could do angle XWU. And they are congruent, which is the same symbol as the last time. To what other angle? What's the easy name? Malcolm.
T.
I keep wanting to call you Malcolm. Your name's not Malcolm. Yep, angle T. Thanks, Max. And Annabelle, what would be the other name for angle T? Using 3 letters.
For angle T.
Mm-hmm. This angle right here. How else can we name it? If this angle's other name is XWU, this one's name could be STU. Yeah. STU.
I'm not going to be here Friday.
Okay.
Because I'm leaving at like 10
Okay.
because of my other train ticket was sold out.
Okay. Great. Alright, so that's it for this yellow page. Huh?
Do we
Yeah, we
not
do.
see you tomorrow?
You do see me tomorrow. Tomorrow's a regular day.
Oh, Friday.
Friday. Yeah. Alright, any questions so far on this page? Alright.
Not right now, but once my brain catches up with that.
Yes, that's fine.
Cool.
Okay. So what I would like you now to do is turn to the green page. The green page is similar. The only difference is instead of naming 2 pieces of information, you can name 3 because they added more symbols to the diagrams. Alright? So we're going to do number 1 together, and then you're going to try number 2. So these ones are kind of like the next step up. So I'm not going to lead us through these statements, so you guys are going to help us write these statements that we did right here for these diagrams. Pizza? Yes!
Wait, what class do you have base period?
Here you go, Peter. I'm going to give you these 3 pages. If you could, please take them in this order. I already wrote the first page for you.
Thanks.
Welcome. Alright, so we're on the green page. I'm not going to color code this. Alright. So, for number 1. One of you guys give me a statement we could write from it. Anna, you've already started.
Line segment SR
Yep.
is perpendicular to Q. The line segment QRT.
Yep. You could also just name it QT if you want.
Okay.
Alright? It's a little bit shorter, QT. So that is one statement you can write.
But otherwise it would be QRT, right?
It could be QRT. Yeah, neither one is wrong.
T.
Peter. Alright, a new person, Max. I'll let you finish writing that. And then I would like you to help me with the second statement.
Right.
So this is basically just labeling.
You're basically, just using the diagram and you're creating statements that are true about the diagram.
Is that what, sorry, I interrupted. Is that what we're going to do on our worksheet tonight?
Yes. Alright, Max.
Alright.
What other symbols do you see that we can write a statement about?
So which ones did we just do?
We just did the right angle one. So line segment SR is perpendicular to line QT.
Okay. So PQ?
PQ, okay. Is that a line segment or a line or what is it?
I think it's a segment.
It is. Good job. Alright, what about PQ?
It has those 3 line things.
Do you know what that means?
No, I don't know what that means.
Okay, so on your yellow page, right, on example number, or problem number 1, there's a tick mark on each side of those congruent lines. Here's 3 tick marks, and here's 3 tick marks over here. They mean the same thing. Instead of using 1, though, they used 3.
Oh,
Same
it's
thing.
a line or segment. That's what it means.
So these marks don't mean a line or segment. This means, what did we say on problem 1 tick marks
That's what
represent?
I'm looking at. Tick marks mean line or segment.
Congruency, what does congruent mean?
I don't know.
Anyone want to help phone a friend?
They're equal.
They're equal. They're the same length. Okay? So line segment PQ
To UT.
to UT. What's the symbol that goes in between for this statement? What is the congruent symbol?
It's like that thing and the 2 dashes.
Yep. So we have the squiggle over the equal sign. Annabelle, you with me, hon?
Yeah.
Pizza.
Miss Gosse. Yeah.
I was just reading you. All right, and then Annabelle, I'm gonna have you help me with this last one.
Okay.
All right, so we've utilized this symbol right here. We've utilized these 2 sets of tick marks. What is the last symbol we need to address? The arc. Okay. So what do these mean?
Can I check back to
Oh, please do.
No.
They look like an equal sign, but they means that the angles are congruent.
Congruent. So they're equal as well. They have the same degree measure. All right. What are the names of those 2 angles that are congruent?
8.
Yep. So we have angle Q and
What?
angle T.
The school's out.
Hey, Max. Can you write down that last statement for me? So again, we have angle Q is congruent or the same or equal or identical, how many synonyms, to angle T.
Is that okay if I reverse it?
That's fine. You can say angle T is congruent to angle Q, yes. Alright, once you finish writing that, I'm going to send you butterflies on your own, and you're going to work on problem number 2.
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah.
So Peter, I'm going to work with you on this one just to kind of help you because you missed kind of the first 2 pages, okay? So independently work on that problem.
I have a question.
Okay.
One sec. I just want to make sure that.
Max?
So for the circular
The
arc
arcs?
thing,
Yep.
is that the same as that one?
Yes, so it's kind of the same thing with the tick marks. Like whether you have 1 tick mark on each side or 3 tick marks on each side, the arcs are the same.
Okay.
It's just a different way of like identifying them.
Would this be angle ED since?
It's not an angle
Well,
ED.
it's line segment ED.
Yes.
Perpendicular to FE.
I'm looking for you to tell me.
Yeah.
Take a risk. Okay. All right, Callum. All right. So we've talked about tick marks. Arc marks are for angles. Both of these sets of symbols or markings on a diagram mean that those things are congruent. Like this arc and this arc mean that these two angles are congruent. These tick marks and these tick marks means that this segment is congruent to this segment. Does that make sense? Okay. The right angle mark, this box thing, means yes, it's a right angle, right? But also that line segment SR is perpendicular to line TQ or QT, however you want to name it. Okay? So those are the three statements that we just wrote. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's you and I work on this one then. So this one has three pieces of information that we can identify. Can you identify one of the symbols in this diagram?
That's an angle.
Yeah. So we have angle E.
That's a 90 degree.
It is. So it means though, something has to be perpendicular. That's what this means. Right? And we also wrote that here. So we have right here, a 90-degree box means the lines or segments are perpendicular. So here we wrote BD was perpendicular to AB. BD, perpendicular to AB. So over here, what two segments are going to be perpendicular? For example, like what's this segment?
DE.
Right, so write DE.
17 shrubs.
Alright, and then what's the symbol for perpendicular?
Double angle.
That's that's congruent.
That's an angle.
Alright, so DE is perpendicular to what other line segment?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Alright, so we've done that one. That's one fact.
That's one.
That's one. You're doing great. Alright, what's another symbol that you see in your diagram?
I see it too.
So these arc marks, again, when we see arc marks, they mean congruent. So what angle is this?
45 degrees.
Not the degree measure, but like what's its name? Don't overthink it. Angle
A.
A. So write angle A. We write it like that. Good. And again, the arc mark means these are equal or congruent. See that symbol? And then, so angle A is congruent to which other angle? B.
Gosse.
Alright, one more. Okay. What other symbols do you see? So the letters are not symbols, they're letters.
CB.
But we have these two arrows right here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they're different from these arrows at the ends of our lines. Alright? So, if we go back a page, what do arrows mean?
The lines are parallel.
Parallel. Okay.
They're not parallel.
Yep. So, which two lines are parallel though? What are their names?
B and D.
Okay, so we have line B.
C.
Okay, sorry, BC. Put the line thing over it. And it needs arrows at the end. Okay. Alright. Symbol for parallel. That's congruent.
So the line over there?
No, that means congruent, so you're gonna have to erase those.
Oh, the double.
Yeah, double vertical lines.
I'm done with this, guys.
Great, we're almost done over here. Alright, so this line is parallel to
FD.
FT, line FT. Good. Alright, let's come together. I'm going to put the answers up on the board. Again, if you switch the order of the letters, that's totally fine. Okay.
Can you look at what I did though?
You can look at what you did and compare it to mine.
Isn't there different ways you can do it though?
Yep.
Yeah.
So again, the order of the facts doesn't matter.
Is
The
that,
order of the letters does not matter as well.
Is that an E after the D for the last one?
Yep, DE.
Oh damn, that's not good. Darn it, I thought I was doing good.
Oh, I got
That's
it.
okay.
I got it. Wait, did I? Oh yeah, I did it.
Yep.
Let's go.
All right, questions, comments, concerns.
What are the little, like, multiple line ones?
These ones?
Yeah.
So these are arc marks as well,
Okay.
and they're like tick marks. Like you see how there's 3 here, and those tick marks are kind of similar to these 2 tick marks right here.
Okay,
They
so
mean the
they're-
same thing.
They're still gonna be like, this squiggle.
Yes, it still represents that those 2 angles are congruent.
Okay.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand out your homework. We're going to do the orange page tomorrow. All right. I'll leave that up for another moment. Everyone say goodbye, Steven.
Bye, Steven.
I have to actually log in.